In this video, I just want to show how I make a tow hook for a 70, well, I guess any model Firebird. It's going to look like this, come right out the front, and the ones you buy in the store are very thin steel, and if you're on the racetrack and you go off into the gravel or sand, and the tow truck is trying to pull your car, from the side, those little cheap ones, thin steel, they're just gonna bend. So I had some of this. This is like 1/4-inch steel, and I just cut out a piece from one. You can see I used a plasma cutter. This was one piece here. Yeah, there you go. You can see where I just cut it out of here. This is how I made the one on this car, and I'll show you how. I just cut it off, and I've I grinded it, the sides a little bit. It's about, I think, 2 1/4 inches wide, and then right up here on the front of the car, I removed the front, that thing right there, the front valance. And then I cut a notch right there in the core support, just a little notch, and it opens up the full frame rail here, or frame horn. And I still need to take a little material off the side here, but basically you take out the bolt there for the body mount. You can see the body mount there. And then you drill a hole in here, but this goes straight back. I have to cut it a little bit because this one I haven't gotten it to fit yet. Well, there we go. Anyway, once I narrow it like a 1/16 of an inch or so, or maybe even less than that, this goes straight back in there, like that, and you can bolt it in there. And there's also a hole. See right there? There's a hole in the frame. So I put another hole. So basically I have a hole here for the that hole I just showed you, and then the body mount hole will be right here. So basically I'll have this going through it, and then I'll run a bolt up through, there we go, that hole right there that's in the frame. And then on the end of this, what I got, and this is again what I did on the Trans Am, and it worked. I had to be towed at Carolina Motorsports Park. I get a steel coupler, 7/8 steel coupler, and well, I'm not going to screw that all the way off, but and then a shoulder mount eye hook, 7/8, because you want the hole to be like close to 2 inches so they can clip onto it easily at the racetrack. But then I just weld that to the end of the flat bar, and then cut a hole in the valance, and this can stick through the valance here, and there you go. That makes a super sturdy 1/4-inch steel. So that way, if they hook onto your car and they want to drag you like sideways through the sand if they have to, that's not going to bend. A 1/4-inch steel plate with a 7/8 eye hook to it, that's sturdy. It's not going to bend. It will drag a 3,000 or 3,800 pound car sideways without bending. But again, I'll show you what that looks like when it's completed. And again, I had to use it when I broke the distributor gear. I had to be towed back to the pits last year, and you can see how it just comes out right here. And actually, I think on this one, I don't know if I can. Yeah, it looks like on this one, I actually used, yeah, look inside there. I welded a coupler to it, and then I ran a threaded rod out of that coupler and then attach this coupler to it. I'm not sure if you can see in there very well. Okay, just ignore my ugly welds, but I painted it, and you can see here's where I screw in the hook, and you can see there's two bolts holding it in. One is the body bushing, and right behind it there's a hole in the frame right there, so you can put a bolt through. So that's a rock solid tow hook for a Firebird, Camaro, whatever. And the hook is in right here. I've cut a hole in the front valance, and here's so you can take off the valance or put it on with the hook in place, or remove or add the hook, and the hook is still drying. The hole I just did on that car was in the valance was much bigger because I only used one coupler. You see how this hole is very small? It's because I used I put a threaded rod into the coupler. So anyway, thanks for watching.